Hello everyone. In this video I will try to remake the same loot spawn system, but now with the asset manager of the engine. I will try to make it with uh, two ways. I don't have um, a big knowledge of how the asset manager works. I think that the asset manager should be used for many assets and not only for to drop, for example, 5 or 10 items. But anyway, I will try to make it with two ways. The first way is giving a primary asset ID of type actor, and the second way giving a primary asset ID with base class of primary data asset. For my own system, I believe that looting, dropping, or spawning enemies shouldn't be something crazy, like drop 200 items or spawn 70 enemies, um, like Path of Exile, which the rewards is uh, crazy. But anyway, that's me. For something like 5, 10, maybe 15 items, I think it's okay. Um, because correct me if I'm wrong. Um, when you using the Asset Manager, you try to scan the directory that you give, and you try to scan every blueprint and find the correct one of the primary data, primary asset ID. Um, anyway, so I've created some actors here in item blueprints, and that's because I don't want to waste any time making um, the blueprint class in the video. So in the item blueprints, I've created some blueprints. One is the item base, and this is the parent of every class. And I create some folders like BB ball, BB cone, and I create also a weapon base that inherits from the parent class of item base. And then I created some child blueprints of type base weapon. So, and I separated to folders. Also, I create a data asset, which is just for testing. Uh, the primary data asset holds a boolean of to separate if the item is, for example, a static mesh or a skeletal mesh. And I gave the choice with a soft object reference. And inside the item base, I just async the asset of static mesh, casting, and setting the static mesh. And this I call in begin play. And yeah, I also imported some free meshes from the fab just to testing the spawner, and that's it. Also, in the BB enemy, which is this one, I will use it as a spawner. Maybe on death you spawn items or gold weapons, anything you like. I did the hard code just to not waste time. Um, And I'm doing this because I don't have any combat system yet, like a health component, maybe some damage. Uh, I don't even know if I will make my own combat system or I will give the gameplay ability system. Um, I think maybe I will use gameplay ability system and give it to the player state. But for now, for testing, this is okay. So now that I finished explaining about the project setup, I can open the edit, the project settings, and go to the asset manager. So as far as I can understand, and I'll try to explain as much as I can, uh, but you need to give the asset manager a primary asset to scan. So in my case, I will give the you actually you can categorize as much as you want. For example, if you have weapons, gear, or accessories, or whatever you would have in your project, um, you can categorize in the asset manager as much as you like. For me, I will do, for example, the weapons. I will give an asset type of type weapons, but you could have um, sword, um, axe, and categorize like that. I guess though that if you do it if you do it this way, categorize sword, axe, shield, anything you like. Um, I think you should have a base um, class for every type. For example, if you want to categorize as only sword, you would have a base sword class that every other sword inherits from the base sword. And if you have shield, then you have a base shield class and goes on. For this type of uh, video in this type of spawn loot drop, I believe it's a good idea to just have a weapon that the manager scans every weapon. I don't know what the impact in performance that the asset manager, for example, goes in the weapons and scan every weapon to find the correct primary asset ID. Um, but yeah, I believe if you have many blueprints, um, I think it's better to give a primary asset of type primary data asset and not actor. But for me, I think it's okay to give a weapon. So now I can do primary as type of weapons, and the order does matter. Um, like if you want to scan every item of type item base, um, you should, but you want to scan the weapon base as well. You should put first the weapon base and then the item base, because everything lives in the path of item base. So the asset manager scan every item, every asset of the parent class. So for me, I will do weapons the base class will be BP weapon base, has blueprint classes, and the directory will be this one. And now the asset manager knows that this asset type and the child of the weapon base lives in this path. And you can do something like this as well. So the primary asset type, I will put item test, and the object will be BP item base. The directory will be the path that leaves the item base and has blueprint classes. So now I can start making the spawn component that will be living inside the enemy base or some sort of chest. Um, I will make a spawn system folder, and I will make data and the component. And in the data I will make a folder that is data assets and another one that is structs. Okay, so now I can make a struct that is spawn info, and for this one in my spawn system I was doing something like an actor class, and this would be of type actor soft reference. But with the asset manager I can say class ID, for example, and give a primary asset ID, and I will give some variables, for example probability to be spawned or dropped, um, mean quantity, max quantity, and this will be integers. And I will give a face tag of type gameplay tag, and I believe that's it. And maybe you would like to put a scale of type vector and a rotation of type rotator. For me and this specific video, this is more than enough. I will probably not use any of this except the primary asset and the probability and maybe the gameplay tag. And now I can make a primary data asset, and call it PDA spawn or spawner, or okay, and give the struct spawn info of type spawn info, and this will be an array. You can put the variables inside the primary data asset and then make many data assets for each element you want to spawn. But I find way faster and easier to just have an array of structs that hold the information. spawn level 1. So now I can uh, populate the array as much as I want and have the primary asset IDs. For example, I want to spawn a ball and the asset type will be item test and the probability will be 50%, the min and max. It doesn't matter because I won't use in this video the quantity. And the phase tags, I made phase 1 and on death. And I can give another really as much as I want. And I want to spawn, for example, Viking shield, and this shield is an asset type of weapons. And I want to be 100%, the quantity doesn't matter, and the spawn phase will be on death. Save, and now I can start by making the component. This will be BBC spawn system. I can open it up, and what this will have, we don't need this. I will give the primary data asset spawn info, and this will be of type PDA spawn, and it will be object reference. And I will do a custom event and call it add to arrays or array. I will keep the arrays and take the spawn info, get a spawn information, do a for each loop, break. So now I have the class ID, the phase tag. You could literally um, put an input of a gameplay tag, and if the phase tag matches with this, add to an array. For now, I will just do if the probability is bigger than a random floating range, and the range will be 0 and 1. If this is true, I will promote this, the class ID, and make it an array, and add. And probably you would want to have a same struct array, and this will be the runtime array to hold all the information, the total quantity, the phase tag, and the probability you don't need. But for this purpose, for this video purpose, I don't need it yet. So if this is true, I will add to an array of class of primary asset IDs, and I can say custom event load assets and say async load primary asset class list. So yeah, now I don't know much about load bundles. It has something to do with meta tags in C++, and I believe you do in the U property and call asset bundle equals to a name, and when this function is getting called, um, it loads the asset that have the meta tag. For my case, I don't need it, and I believe that if you don't put something in the load bundles, uh, Unreal uses a default bundle, but I could be wrong, so I don't know. For the in the complete, you can promote this to a variable and be and this will be a loaded array of objects, and we can have a custom event that says spawn assets, and this will have an input of face tag, which will be a gameplay tag. So, and yeah, so that's why you need the runtime struct array. But for now, I will spawn everything in one time. I can do the I can take the array of load objects, do a for each loop, and cast to actor class and spawn actor from class. The spawn transformation I will split and say get owner, get actor location, and spawn in the root of the owner. So now if I go to the BB enemy, give the component BBC spawn system and say add to array, then you can have something um, like if health is less than 80%, load assets, and on death spawn assets, and the face tag should be uh, spawn phase on death, but I don't use it for now. So if I go and play now and press 2, I have a function that I call from the third person, and the enemy loses 10 health. So if the enemy is dead, nothing happens. Nothing happens because I haven't gave the data spawn level 1. So if I go now and play and kill the enemy, I have spawned the ball and the Viking. Okay, I think that's for now. You can do anything you want with the system, and yeah, that's all. Before I um, finish the video, um, this isn't correct. You should have something like not boolean, and so I debugged um, the system, and apparently I'm using this one to uh, here, and I load nothing because this is false. But if I give another boolean, and make it true after. And I now debug. I have two array elements. The probability is 50%. This should be false. And the other probability is 100%. So I add only the Viking shield. And if I play now and I can't debug the load assets, I have only the weapons Viking shield. So this will load only one item. So now if I kill the enemy, it loads only um, the shield. So now if I search BP, I only have the Viking shield and not the ball. The last thing that I want to say is that this system is a very simplified version of the uh, of what I want to make. But the idea is here that I'm using primary ID assets. And the nice thing with the asset manager is now that I have the choice to say unload um, primary asset or unload asset list, and this gives me a nice control over the memory um, that maybe I want to force unload or something like that. And the other thing is I can say get asset ID list, get primary asset ID list, and I can give an asset type of weapons or item test, uh, anything you want or have as a asset type. And this list will return every weapon inside the path that the weapon base has. So if I do this, this will return uh, a blueprint class of wooden sword and three more of Viking axe, shield, sword. Um, for this specific spawn system, it doesn't really make sense uh, to get the ID list. And I don't want to spawn every weapon that I have. I want to have to spawn it dynamically. But yeah, um, I will also try to make the same system, um, but instead of giving the primary asset ID as a type of actor, the base class to be the item base or the weapon base, I will try to make it uh, and give the base class as a type of primary data asset. Um, I believe this will be more efficient, uh, but for a simple system um, like this, to spawn 5-10 items per drop, I think this is fine. Anyways, thanks for watching.